Could you tell a little bit about your song and what the song?
We wanted to go back in time when there were not many hard feelings associated with people. And the song is about being in present.
How was rejection before coming to TC?
That was tough. That was tough. So initially, when you're making a project, also now you need to deal with a lot of rejection, like the kind of crew you want to get, and I have not paid anybody in my crew.
Were there days when you felt that you want to give up?
I'm a John Cena fan. Never give up is something we try to live.
Welcome to Dopamine High.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very fresh. Yeah, quite excited for it.
Can you introduce yourself for our audience?
Absolutely. So I'm Krrish Kohli. I take pride in calling myself an actor and a producer. I'm the only child of a very loving family. I call myself a caring friend also, and I like to be part of things which are bigger than myself, and that makes me feel like I have metal in my mouth, and that keeps me going. Also, I'm a student of Krishna. I really like to add it. It makes me humble.
You talked about acting. Could you tell us where did this start from?
Yeah, I think I have a very vivid memory of it. So this was back in 2006. And since I am named Krish, so I need to go watch Krish. So that's what my family did. And there used to be this theater, Casey. Now it's the PVR here. So like I went there and it was a full house show, but there were a couple of seats which were empty. And the first time I saw Hritik on screen, what I was doing is like while he was jumping off those buildings, I was trying to copy him and do the similar things on the chairs.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I used to have a ponytail. I was 3 that time. So I think that time that constant feeling of entertaining and that constant feeling of getting inspired. So I really wanted to provide that to my family and my people. So whenever I would go to a party or whenever I'm in school, I tend to entertain people. And initially it wouldn't come off like that. They'd think that I was trying too much. And maybe it was like that. But yeah, so that's how it started. And yeah, then you discover the details of the craft and everything, and then the ball game changes to another level.
So, what is something that you look up to in Hritik Roshan?
I mean, everything. Just look at that guy. I mean, yeah, so he's like the most handsome man that we know. But there's this sense of commitment to everything that he does, be it dancing, be it acting, be it while promoting his film. So he's like a fully Sampoorn, like, we say in Hindi, like a Sampoorn avatar. He's a Sampoorn artist. So he can handle the commercial side really well. He'll do everything right. Like that chase for perfection. And although you don't achieve perfection, that's just a goal to aim, but you become better than the last version of yourself. So that is something I constantly see in his projects and how he has evolved over time. So that's something that really inspires me, gets me going like this.
You spoke about your family and your friends. So, could you tell us how it's been with your family all this while in your childhood?
It was amazing. Like even if I go to Bombay and a lot of people ask me that how was your childhood, I just have one word for it. It was spectacular. Like I felt at ease. Like I had to discover how being lonely is later post my 18th. Once I've left the city, and with my family, it's always been they've been around. My mother has been my biggest cheerleader, and my father is like it's just very like it is tough to make him proud, but he's just gonna give you what he needs. And I've tried not to misuse that privilege. So with privilege and power comes great responsibility. So that's how the situation with my family is, and they've been around all the time. Be it be it like when I was dancing on a kids fair, or be it I'm dancing in Kasar Na Chodhna. So the amount of support has been similar in those situations, although the magnitude of these things are very different, right? They've always been there, and I knowingly I try this that I want to keep the whole world in front of their feet someday, and that also drives me in some level.
You're a single child. So, have you ever felt lonely?
I always felt I got the love for two children because I used to see people around me, and I felt that I'm getting too much love from my parents and all of that. So I never felt lonely. Plus, we had a lot of dogs growing up. I'm sure my mother has told you that a bunch of times. So we always had dogs, and sometimes I used to feel that they love the dogs more. But but it's been great. No. I've never felt lonely.
And when you shifted from Jammu to Bombay, was there a culture shock?
It was absolutely like, and I can go on and on about it because from a guy who's worn skinny jeans because fashion didn't come to Jammu that early. So I went and the perception about Jammu also, yeah, like how people think about Jammu and Kashmir, they think that we're constantly dealing with wars. They don't know how the city actually is. So there was definitely a shock, but for the first 3 months in Bombay, I felt like I'm here to win the world. Like I'm in Subhash Guy's college, I'm in Whistling Woods. I'm just gonna get launched in a couple of years. Like the world's my oyster. I was like that. But then later, once those months passed, and like the friendships don't remain the same, and then it finally hits you that you're not sleeping on your same bed that you've slept in for the 18 years of your life. So then it is difficult to absorb that.
During this time, your mom got to know that she has cancer. How did you deal with that?
I remember I was in college that time, and dad just told me that mom has a minor surgery, so you just have to fly back. And I didn't put much thought into it. And once the surgery was done and everything was clear, and I went to see mom up at Medanta in Gurgaon, then she told me, and you know how she described it? She's like, "Mujhe thoda sa cancer hai." And I didn't even know
Were
what
you
is.
able to process it?
No, I still haven't processed it because like in psychology, people might call it denial, but I think it worked fantabulously for me because there I was sitting in the hospital bed and I was I was kind of confused, but I knew mom could take it on some level, but I was more upset because I'm the only child. Everybody knew, right? घर की काम वाली बाई को भी पता होगा, but I didn't know about it. So there was this certain feeling of being inadequate and feeling very small. And I hate when I feel small. And I think that's the first time I've ever felt small because I can imagine dad running around everywhere in the hospital, and of course the family was there and friends were there, but the son also had to be there. So I don't hold it against them because they also think that I was too young or maybe a little weak to process that. But since then I've tried to change that perception of me also in front of them. Yeah, so it was tough.
Do you think you've come out stronger?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So after that, because I was having a blast in Mumbai back then, because every guy from Jammu who goes to Mumbai, every individual, they'll tend to enjoy the lifestyle. And it was, I think I was in the first year of my college, so I was enjoying, those parties were going on, a lot of going out. I didn't even know where my life was heading at that point of time. It was just you go to college, maybe train a little bit, and then party more. So it was like that. And once this happened, I felt so inadequate. I realized that the parties are gonna stop. We came here for a mission. We came here for a purpose. We gotta get back at it. We need to figure it out. And I think that's when I felt a shift in me.
Do you think mentally that made you mature?
Absolutely. I felt like I think I was 19, 18, or I was just entering 19. I think I realized I need to grow up now. Yeah. Like that was like, conscious thing coming in my body that you need to grow up right now.
Recently, you've launched a song. How have you been feeling lately?
I've been I've been feeling very overwhelmed. Like so it's very difficult to process it because right now the attention span and the processing ability of human beings have deteriorated to another level because we try to measure success by numbers, by views and all of that, and this feels like a very alien concept to me. But I feel gratitude. I feel a lot of gratitude because I remember I heard this song randomly in January. I called my friend that you have a song, and जो बातों बातों में बात हुई थी कि नहीं यार एक गाना बनाते हैं, वो प्रोजेक्ट कहाँ से इवॉल्व होके टी सीरीज पे आ गया, and the journey within like really like makes me feel very strong also and powerful, but also makes me feel very humble because it took a while and there's a lot of teamwork that goes behind. So now that it is out there and luckily it's doing well, but the journey behind it, it's completely it's on another level. That is the victory, not the result. So result doesn't matter. What we achieved in these 8 months, I think we took to handle everything. So that feeling is amazing.
How was the rejection before coming to T series?
That was tough. That was tough. So because so I'll start from scratch. So initially, when you're making a project, also now you need to deal with a lot of rejection, like the kind of crew you want to get, and I have not paid anybody in my crew because it was a collaborative thing, and they were willing to work. So it was tough to get those people on board only. The people who were superior professionals, like my choreographers, Ankan and Sahil, who worked with Hritik, they were this person, they were somebody whose market value was at a certain level and their time had to be valued. So I tried to compensate that whatever I could. And so some superior people, we definitely, like people who are superior in the industry, who've been working for a while, experienced, we got them. So it was tough to get a shooting date also because locations nahi mil rahe the, and there were a lot of things going on. And then the war started in Jammu. So I used to think that, am I being selfish? Should I like get the project or should I go back home and see how my dogs are, how my parents are? But luckily, mom was with me. Dad was here, so it was tough. But eventually, like we managed to go to the production part of it because our pre-production is very strong. My director is a legendary guy, so my pre-production was very strong. And once we shot it, then I took a break from it for about a month or two. And then I started pitching, and there was constant rejections from all the major labels there. And I had and some people really tried to exploit my position also as a new producer and as a new actor. So I remember telling my father that I think I'm going to self-release it only, and but I didn't know what sort of a magnitude I can get it to, like where.
But were there days when you felt that you want to give up?
No, I'm a John Cena fan. Never give up is something we try to live by. I know, but this is where your superpowers come in, like your discipline, your breathing, your meditating ability, and all of that. And that kept me going. So I've written on a glass wall all the goals that I want to happen, and there's no time period in it because time restricts your goals. So it's sort of key. And I always used to see release Kasar Na Chodhna, release Kasar Na Chodhna, and I was dying to tick it, but I never left any table unturned. So I kept at it. I kept at it, and luckily, the amount of connections I've made over the years and the kind of people I'm associated with, they were extremely kind and helpful. They thought of this project as their own child. And my friend just suggested me a bunch of contacts someday, Kiara. And yeah, then I decided, okay, one last shot I'm gonna give to this. And I think after 6-7 calls we had, like T series was there for us. They were there to present it. Yeah.
Could you tell a little bit about your song and what the song means?
So it's basically we wanted to go back in time. We wanted to go back in time when there were not many hard feelings associated with people. And the song is about being in present. Because I really wonder how the 90s was, how the 80s were, and all of these things. I really wonder about that time. And so that is why we wanted to create a retro vibe. So if you see the music video, there's a good retro vibe. And lately, I've been feeling that people have been half assing stuff a lot, giving a partial attempt to things. Okay, just let's do 50% and all of that. So, Kasar Na Chodhna just says that just be in the present and give your best.
You said that it's said in a romantic way. Are you the romantic kind of guy?
Some days. Yeah, you see, I'm an actor. I try to play various shades of me. Sometimes, but yeah, definitely, I am a romantic.
Old school?
Very old school. Very old school. I think I'm born in the wrong generation.
All right. Have you gone through a heartbreak?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Would you like to talk about how you thought at that time कि अब कसर नहीं छोड़नी है? How can you relate?
Like sometimes you can think that it's your fault also, na yaar? Like even if you can't like blame everything on the entire person, and that's the first reaction what we guys tend to do when you experience a heartbreak. कसर ना छोड़ना तब आता है कि नहीं यार, if I find somebody worth holding on to, तो मैं कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ूंगा. So it's like that.
So has there been a moment in your life where you've thought कि with anybody for that matter that I want to hold on to this person?
I mean, romantically or like
Anybody that could be like.
no, of course there are a lot of people. So like I'm saying, like I pride myself in being a very caring and a friend who's always there. I think I'm like a very joy like person. Like you've seen Friends, right? Feel that I have in me. And of course, like I have so many friends and I've tried to give my best with all of them, especially my best friend Swar, who's also an actor who was the EP in this project, the executive producer, and now he's gone to um LA to study acting, and he's somebody I feel koi kasar nahi chodunga. I'm gonna hold on to him, and of course there are people who are coming closer in my life romantically, whatever you want to call it. उनके लिए भी हम कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ना चाहते.
You just mentioned in the start that you're a Krishna Bhakt. Can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey and how it's helped you through your acting life?
Absolutely. Um, I don't remember how it started, but I remember so for a child, it starts from hero worship. So it starts from hero worship, and I saw Hanumanji first. So because when you're a child, and especially a male child, that's the first hero you see in your life. And whenever I felt less or whenever I felt in trouble, and a lot of credit goes to my parents because they're very religious people, and they made me learn the Hanuman Chalisa very early in my life and all of that. And that became as a mechanism to feel better and to be with myself and feel strengthened. Then that was the situation back then. But spirituality also has to grow. Like if you go to the gym, you need to, your training ability, your muscles need to grow. Similarly, spirituality will only help you if it grows. And you need to have your own interpretation of it. So I don't think of myself as a religious person. Like I think of myself as a spiritual person. And these are deities, like our mythology, all of these things. And I've read everything from Bhagavad Gita. I'm trying to read the Shiv Puran. I've read Sham, which is like Devdutt Patnaik's Krishna Bhagwan's journey and all of that. And the kind of stuff these super powerful forces experienced in while their life on earth was considered, be it tales, like some people just say they are just tales. So they teach humanity on another level. So like if Ramji could go through such series of adversity, of course, you also have the ability to go through that. So it came from inspiration and then it translated to meditating. And now I can't go without having my 25, 30 minutes of meditation. Yeah. Because then you get a lot in your head. You're not kinder to people. You lose your ability to interact properly because then you judge everything by your emotions and your instincts come alive. And our scriptures mention that we've given the cerebrum, to think really well, to think from an emotional perspective, to think from a kinder perspective. So that's where spirituality comes in.
Have you been insecure in your life ever?
A lot. Like I don't want to sound like that I'm some person who doesn't get insecure a lot. I get insecure from time to time, even now. Yeah, I do that, and no matter how much I've achieved or I don't achieve, I'll have that feeling. But insecurity is a very negative thing to think about. And I read a lot, and usually whatever book I'm reading, I tend to find my answers somehow. I think that's the gift of life, that you are putting a question on yourself and you'll find that answer. So there's this book of Paulo Coelho. So he says that, like, if you're in a desert, if you are looking at a cactus, is it harming you? But once you go and you consume the water of that cactus, it is going to harm you, right? So similarly, overthinking is a negative thought. If it comes in your mind, first of all, you got to acknowledge it. कि ठीक है यार, आ रहा है. But if you constantly sulk about it, that's when it gets to you and that's when you feel very less of yourself. And with meditation, you get the ability to choose what you want to think about. To see the grass is full on this side and acknowledge it as a feeling, and then you can take care of everything.
You just talked about goals right now. What's your long-term goal in life?
Long-term goal. I want to entertain. I just want to entertain as long as I can. And like I said in the start of the podcast also, I want to be part of things which are way bigger than myself. Because there you feel irrelevant also, and there you feel relevant also. So I want to be, like in basketball, we say I want to be the leading scorer also, but I also want to be a pass first guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. So do you see yourself as a producer or an actor 5 years from now?
See, I've always been an actor at heart, and producing is something that I've recently started. But since I've studied filmmaking for more than 3 years, so that is something I feel I have the ability to do justice to as well. So right now, I think like acting is a craft that comes naturally to me, and I need to put, like, of course, a lot of effort in it. But producing is something that gives me that takes my purpose beyond as an actor. You know how Tom Cruise does it? So that's like a huge target to achieve. But I want to be somebody who can tell stories, not just as an actor, but while being an actor and also a producer. So I'll see how that works out, and I'll tell you in a couple of years.
Lovely. Can money buy fame?
Of course it can, but it depends what fame means to you. Yeah. Like right now, everything is so, like, especially on the phone, on these all social media applications, things are very manipulative. Like anything can, you can just convert anything into, like, if you want a 1 million view on your product, you can get it. You can get it. That's how money gets it for you. And of course you'll feel validated, you'll get love also from people. But that is not what person should try to chase, because money also becomes a very irrelevant thing after a point of time. Of course it is something that is running the world, but how you feel about it. So even if I get a 30K, but I know that has happened without, manipulating these forces of media. They've come to me organically. I then appreciate my product or whatever I've created way more than
Then
artificial fame. Yeah.
you've been in the industry. Have you ever faced any, have you ever been differentiated if there was an actor's child? Is there nepotism in the industry?
I mean, I'm on a very early side of my career, because it's been a year since I've, not even a year, like 9-10 months since I've been working professionally. But yeah, I have significant experience of auditioning at the right places, where people, big people are also connected, and star kids are also part of. So I've gone to those situations, and of course there is a preference. There's definitely a preference, and I think, but that is applicable to any industry. Here there's so much media coverage कि it gets highlighted a lot. But there are job interviews also. कोई reference लेके आता है, उसको पहले जाने देते हैं और बाहर 5 लोग बैठे हुए हैं. It's like that also sometimes. But it's a going factor. But the crazy part is right now that the audience has become very welcoming for newer people and newer actors. So right now, of course, on a commercial level, the competition is still there. When I'll be 25, will I have the commercial shoulders to handle a 200 crore film? I might not, but a star kid might have that ability to bring the audience. So it becomes a very business based decision also. But as far as the sanctity of acting is concerned, this is the best time to come in the industry, because they're looking for new faces, they're looking for newer stories. So I never let that factor affect me at all, because I know that is something I can't compete with now. Maybe later, we never know about.
Right. Do you think influencers have a edge above the people who don't have so many followers?
Of course, there is an edge, but only in the commercial space. Only in the commercial space. Like for an ad or something, it might make a lot of sense. And sometimes even in films right now, like there are a lot of influencers working, and they also get like a good referral by the number of followers. But now I've seen this industry work very closely. I've seen the people who make the decisions. I've seen casting directors and all of that. And but as far as the craft is concerned, and person who can lead the way, the influencers are not their first choice. And it won't be until and unless somebody has put a lot of effort in training and becoming a capable actor. Because एक time के बाद you can't play on your face value, right? So this is that sort of a situation, and a lot of actors are just trying to get into the influencer route to get a lot of followers so that they can be casted. But that's like taking taking a huge detour according to me. I'm like, do your thing, do your projects that you create yours, or find find some work, because they'll come your way. Everybody gets those equal number of opportunities, right? हाँ, it's just about timing. कुछ लोगों का timing पहले होता है, तुम्हारा time थोड़ा बाद में आता है. But you need to adjust with your own pace of your life and do it. Don't let followers get in the way on all of that.
You just spoke about timing. Do you think destiny matters?
Of course it does. 100%. 100%. And you need to, man, like the more aware about you as yourself now, and the kind of journey you've had so far, and the kind of moments you're enjoying in the present. So you know about that. And then it's easier to figure out your purpose, because destiny and purpose are very connected, right? But if you are just being very flamboyant and going around all the time, you won't be able to connect with yourself and understand that what is your actual purpose. And I think once a person starts adulting, this is the best time to investigate that. But before that, somebody told me that it's good to try multiple things and find your calling. And I think that is something I also did on some level in my life.
Right now, Sayara was a very big hit. And talking about influencers, her face was also not so famous.
Yes.
And the director himself said that he was looking for someone who was not injected, who was more natural on the screen. So, do you think this is the right time to be in the industry? Because now people are looking at girls or maybe actors from a different lens.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the audience, okay, so over post the COVID era, the audience became very critical, right? Because then the whole debates on nepotism and all of these things started on another level. So right now, filmmakers are of course trying to get new stories, but indirectly they want to serve the audience, right? And they know if a newer face comes along, it doesn't have to be poor or rich or whatever the archetype is. Wherever he or she comes from, people will be more accepting, because they'd rather want to see the journey they've had. Like Ahan Pandey is like, people say he's connected with the industry already and all of that. But through my people, I know he's auditioned for the past 8 years, 6, 8 years, and he's somebody who regularly trains, who's performing acting as a proper discipline. And when all of these things align, now when that amount of success aligns with this amount of preparation, then you even feel good for anybody, be it like a star kid or be it just another actor. So yeah, the tables are shifting, but as long as we start getting good stories and people do the effort, I'm sure people will stop debating who's a star kid or who's an outsider. But we need to work towards that also. We just can't make projects and films solely on the basis of filling our pockets. Yeah.
So, who is your role model in life?
Role model in my life. I wanted to take the easy answer and say Hritik Roshan, but I think me in 10 years probably would be my role model now. Yeah.
Okay, you see your future self.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a person I'm trying to chase, like in the coming years, right? So I'll give him the credit, because I know if he keeps on working and keeps on hustling, being grounded, being aware of himself, I'm sure I can, get to that point. Yeah.
How is the hustle in Bombay?
Bombay hustle is fun. It's tough. It's sad, but it is amazing also, because after a point of time now, when you are at it, you start seeing small miracles in life. Now you consider it professionally. Now you consider it connecting way, and there are things you must have seen that film called Luck by Chance, and things happen like that. I've gotten to a few places where sharely out of being at the right place at the right time, it happens. But even if not, you're not missing out on anything. So as an actor, there's no 9 to 5, right? There's no structure in life. And half of the people, even in the industry, be it a cinematographer, a sound designer, a director, writer, anybody. So we guys don't have a lot of structure in our life, like that 9 to 5 structure. But what aligns us together is discipline.
Right.
So you need to know, you wake up at a certain time. These are the few people I have to reach out. This is what I have to prep for acting. This is the time when I'll give to my physique. This is the time when I'll give to my mind and all of those things. And once you build that sort of a routine, it just keeps you going. So then you don't even have to constantly write your goal and all of that. Your habits take you there. So once you've written your goal, you just surrender to your great habits and become a slave to them. They'll do the talking. And I call good habits superpowers. Yeah.
What's a day in your life like in Bombay?
So now the honest one or the
Honest. You don't have to be politically correct.
Yeah, so I can't wake up early till now. So that is something I'm being very honest about. So I wake up at 10 and I wake up at 10 and first thing I do, I don't touch my phone for like first 45 minutes of my life. And then I tend to meditate for a while. So I have my whole meditation playlist sorted. Sometimes I'll take a different route. I'll tend to do a manifestation meditation and all of that. So once I'm done with that, I'll enjoy a black coffee and and then I'll align. I call my set of things that I have to complete in a day. I call them killings. So like it might have breathe. Breathe is like the first task. Meditate. Now it might be go to a meeting. Whatever is in the lineup for the day. And sometimes there's an audition, so I try to get an audition done very early in the day. If I'm going someplace though, then the game is different because they'll give you the time. But if I'm shooting something, so I'll do it at the end of the day, at the start of the day. Then later, I'll probably go to the cafe, see the kind of meetings I want to have, the people I'm meeting with. Then probably I'll give some time to my body. And then food comes along because I intermittent fast for a while. That really keeps my energy levels high. And if I'm shooting, then the whole day gets really weird. But I every day I go to a cafe around my house. That's where I get my work from because at home I start playing the PlayStation. So this is how I go, and I try to go to bed by 12, 11:30, 12, and I tend to read in a day also because that keeps me from hoping because I feel hope is something that we have. So I hope a lot, like I hope this comes along and all of that. And I tend to be connected with all of my friends, so I try to meet at least one day, like one friend a day. Yeah.
So you like networking, you are an outgoing person that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's safe to say, like I'm an outgoing person, but it changes over time. Na? It depends what sort of a zone you are in. And sometimes you really don't want to talk to anybody. But when once the stakes are high and you met somebody who's in a phenomenal position and whom you've admired, you need to pull the trigger those times. Yeah.
So you've started to produce lately. Who are the filmmakers you look up to?
So in India, I look up to Aditya Chopra a lot because of his producing and directing acumen and what he's achieved with the Yashraj Studios. That's phenomenal. Overseas, I'm a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino. And my mentor, Raul Bhatt has introduced me to world cinema a lot. So there's Yargos Lanthimos, there's Ruben Ostlund and all of these people. So they are like overseas. I love Tarantino, I love Scorsese, and my favorite film is Godfather all time. So Coppola is like really good. And I keep watching. David Fincher is another filmmaker. Then there's Imtiaz Ali, I really admire. And then there's I'm forgetting his name. Shakun Batra, he did Kapoor and Sons.
Okay.
So I like him also.
Lately, people have really appreciated your dancing skills in your latest song. Where did this journey start? How it's been all? Is it God gifted or have you learned it? What it's been like?
The energy is God gifted. Like having that constant energy while performing is God gifted. Safe to say, not God gifted. Also, let's call it a God's blessing. That sounds humble, right? And I remember because my parents explored very early that this boy can move a little well, and it was very tough because we used to go to all of these functions, and my father would play Dhoom Machale, Jai Jai Shiv Shankar, and I'm supposed to perform in front of all of these people, and this was fine, and this kept on happening even till I was in my third year of college.
Okay.
My father would still do it, and by this time I've discovered that I'm a good dancer, and I knew, and I never trained. It's just I used to watch the kind of dances I like, especially Hritik, Roshan, and that's how I started doing it. And then the whole idea of a music video also came to me because I wanted to use my dancing skills. So I chose that I want to look for a dancing track where I can lace my shoes on and do a good job, do a justice to the song. So then I called my friend. So I've also done a bit of short films also. There's this film which is gonna come in some time. It's called The Alpha Mirth. So this guy had done music, the music of that film. So I called him that, hey, you've got a song. And he's like, it's so crazy that I wrote a song a couple of months ago and I didn't even know you back then, but I visualized you performing on it. So this is back in January or February. So he sent me the song and I loved it. I knew I could dance on it. And when Ankan and Sahil, the legendary choreographers, came along in my life, then I decided that this is the first one. So I'm gonna. So the bar was very high. Not all of the things that I've done, because I was just copying Hritik, so I didn't have a style of mine. But in Kasar Na Chodhna, I can say that I finally cracked a little bit a style of mine. Yeah.
So are you also one of those people who stand in front of a mirror and communicate and learn how to act?
I did, but I think that is something a lot of legendary people also do right now, but I don't do it a lot now. I don't, because if you keep looking at yourself, it takes you away from the fact that somebody is looking at you. Because while you're acting, you should perform like nobody's looking at you. There's no camera, so you need to eliminate your own eye to see yourself, or eliminate the eye. Because then, if you're doing it in front of the mirror, you'd want that I look a certain way, I look good, and all of that. But while you are performing, that notion should go
Do you get nervous?
every time. Every time. So whenever I've stepped the camera, even right now, like safe to say, touchwood, I've done more than 10 projects, like being ads and everything in total. I've always felt that I'm doing a project for the very first time. Like before I give my first shot, of course, 3 shot ke baad I get on autopilot and everything seems easy. But whenever we are rolling for the first time, okay, first time, whenever there's a first take, I'm supremely nervous. I think that makes you feel that you care too much, right? It's not even a bad thing, but you need to understand the mechanism to control your nerves also. Maybe do some push-ups, do some breathing exercises, and then get into the scene. And I still, like, if I'm giving an audition for here, if I'm coming here, I'll still have that that first childlike nervousness. Maybe it's excitement. I don't even know what to call it exactly, but yeah, it's always there, and that makes you care more.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
It's wonderful being here in front of you. It's amazing.
Like,
Share
subscribe.
to dopamine high.
Thank you.
Cheers.